Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Now, this is great, isn't it? Here you were in the Doctor Who episode many, many years ago, and who knew that all these years later, you would be on stage talking about it?
And alive, which is good.
Yeah, well, that's always a bonus as well.
Yes.
So let's,
40 years.
Yes, and then we go back a little bit more. Peter,
Yes.
1979, you were in Doctor Who.
I wasn't born.
No, you're obviously extremely young. What do you remember about your time in Doctor Who?
Nothing.
Let's give a big round of applause for Peter. Right. Yeah, we had
I'm
a
joking.
Now, of course, you played Commander Sharrell in Destiny of the Daleks. You must remember something. If nothing else, your outfit.
We were called Mavelians. Is that right?
Mavelians, yeah.
Mavelians, that's right. I just remember that.
Surely you can't have forgotten the costume, if nothing else.
In fact, I have to tell you, I did one of these some years ago, and the costume, I used to be slim, you know, and it comes to some of us, anyway.
That's strong, isn't it? I'm holding it in as well.
Well, we do know each other.
We do.
We have worked vaguely together with other people.
Quite vaguely.
Very vaguely.
Twice.
And so I haven't seen him for such a long time, so it was a pleasure to see. And but I was slim then, and I'm not slim anymore. But some years ago, I did a convention in Wembley, I think it was, and this lady and her husband arrived from Australia with my costume, and she asked me if I could get into it, and I couldn't. It just stood there like. It's amazing what youth does to you, isn't it? When you get older, you're a mess. But I didn't get into it, but she brought it all the way and I had to sign it. And I've never forgotten it, how thin I was. That's all stayed with me forever and ever. So I'm saying nothing.
And what did she have? The spangly silver dreadlock wig?
No, I lent the wig to a friend of mine for a fancy dress party. And he gave it to somebody else. And I've never seen it since. Has anybody, have you got it?
Scanning the audience.
I mean, I'm not being funny here, but trophies like that could be your pension, you know.
Well, it's gone now. It's over.
Actually, I'm always fascinated by this. If you work on a TV show, do you ever liberate any props or costumes? And before you answer, I just have to remind you that you don't have to say anything. It may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioning something that should later rely on in court.
Were you ever a policeman?
I was,
Were you?
I was, funny enough.
Oh, good, all right.
Yes.
Do tell me about it.
I want to hear about anything you've purloined over the years.
I've purloined many things.
Because particularly on a big show like Doctor Who, I mean, I don't know, Simon, if you recall this in the 80s.
purloined.
Yeah.
I purloined from the theatre. Have you purloined costumes from the
I've
theatre?
purloined nearly everything.
You've got a lot of it on today, haven't you?
Yes, actually, exactly.
Shall I tell you my quick purloin story?
I think we're interested in this, aren't we?
Yeah. It was in a long-running musical about a Swedish pop band.
Oh, which one could that be?
Or the Swedish National Services, I call it. And I was in it for 4 years in London. And we were given the big silver.
Oh, the boots.
The boots. You know, the big ABBA boots. And they were fantastic. They were worth a fortune because they were very posh leather and all bespoke made. So I was left the show and I was given the boots, all given the boots. I didn't wear them often, I have to be honest with you. You might have done it.
So you would have seen on the district line with them on.
That's right. So I thought, I'm not dragging these boots. I'm moving house to a smaller place. But what am I going to do? I'm going to put them on eBay. I put them on eBay. There'll be a bit like today, some very keen person who loves Mamma Mia. And I said it was Simon Slater who lead in Mamma Mia. These are the boots, the original boots. They've danced all the dances. I thought I'd get a fortune. So I asked you, audience, very quickly. What do you think? It surprised me. What do you think I got for the pair of boots on eBay? For these are original, Mamma Mia boots
With a letter of authentication.
Yes, yes. What do you think I got from them on eBay?
Shout out a price.
80 quid. Keep going.
100.
120. Keep going.
200.
Very close, £1.46. I'm serious. Which is
What's the bottle reserve on
that's
them?
about 73p each, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there's this, I'm not kidding, so this little man came to my door. He was a little man, not sure his size, he was a little man. And I handed over my boots, which were about the size of him actually. But anyway, I handed over the boots, and he gave me a £5. And I said, "Oh, I'm going to get you some change," I said. He said, "Don't you worry."
Is that the same little man who sold them for £10,000?
He's the same little man who's got Peter's wig as well.
I can't believe it, actually.
It's absolutely true.
Who bought it?
I'm looking at their footwear down the front.
So Peter, you were saying that you can't really remember anything at all about your time on Destiny of the Daleks. What about you, Simon, with your Colin Baker story, The Terror of the Village?
Yes, it was 40 years ago.
Yes.
And this is my first convention. I am a virgin, but you knew that.
And when you did that job
Yes.
40 years ago, did
Yes.
you ever think, one day in 40 years, I might be in West London talking to some people about this job, so I better
Do it well.
Better do it well and pay attention.
No, others I've done much better. It was my first telly job actually, and my last, which is funny, but there it was. And
I didn't even actually survive into episode 2.
No, I did 4 episodes. No, I did.
And what you do, you see, and you see, if you
I'm sorry, you
die,
got me.
if you die,
You thought we were going to get Gemma Redgrave or Anita Dawson.
if you die in part 1, what you hope is you're in the recap of part 2. At least you get 2 fees.
Well, for those I don't know why people ever know this episode. I died in end of part 1. Episode 1. I died in everything.
It was quite brutal, as I recall.
It was brutal. And the next 3 episodes, I was dead, as the whole ship were killed off by the vervoids, which is quite painful, actually. You can get cream for it now. It's not. Anyway, me and Honor Blackman were carried around to a human compost heap. I think my career is actually under that heap. Anyway, so I thought, when my agent, I got 4 episodes, my agent said. I thought, well, she said, you only speak in 1, but you're carried around dead in the next 3. And I thought, well, obviously I'm going to get a bigger fee for the speaking ones. I'm speaking. And less money for the 3 other ones. It was the same money for the whole lot. 200 quid for speaking and dying. And flirting with Bonnie Langford.
Oh, well, at least you didn't have to learn lines.
I learned a few saucy lines with Bonnie. I took down to the bottom of the ship.
Really? How old was she?
Oh. Anyway, yeah, it's a long time ago.
And your death, apparently, Bonnie screamed in the key of the closing theme.
She did. She's touring that screen now. Yes. It was great. It was Chris Clough who directed it. And the first death, I put my hand on things a big spark. It really hurt. Really hurt. And I went like that. And he went, just died, lie down, die. That really hurts.
Do it for your art, Simon. So what was it like then, when you got that part? I mean, Doctor Who had been going 20 plus years, and even actually Peter, it had been going a good 15 years.
Before I was born, it was going.
Exactly. Was there quite a lot of kudos? I mean, say for example, if you were offered 2 shows at the same time and you could only do 1, would you have chosen Doctor Who, do you think? Was it big enough?
Well, I sort of liked Doctor Who, the whole idea of it, to be honest. I didn't know if it was good or bad, and it just...
And if you
my
would
agent
like
just said,
Boris?
just do it. And I remember I was, I think I've told a story before. I was on holiday in Mykonos, and they phoned up, in those days they didn't phone, you've got a, what's it called? Not a telex, what's it called?
Pager?
No. Do you know what a fax?
A fax.
A fax, that's it.
I got a pigeon when I said mine.
Yes. And the fax arrived at the hotel that we were staying at, and it said, would you come over? They're going to start shooting on Monday. And I was still on holiday, and I got this fax on a Friday. And I
How did
called,
that go down with the family?
Well, my agent just said, she just said, just hire a plane, dear, and just come over. So I did. So I got, and I don't like flying, but you know this, it's Olympic Airlines. I went there, it's a funny little plane. Like,
Did you have to do that?
yes, and I was sitting just next to almost the pilot. It was great. Fucking hell, I nearly died. I was hanging on to the side, I cannot tell you. And then I got back in time, and we started.
And the rest is history.
And then the rest is history.
And
I'm a very
yeah. And what did you think of the glamour of working in an old quarry and an old sand pit? Because that's synonymous with Doctor Who, particularly back then. All the glamour of TV. I mean, one of the biggest shows on BBC One.
I think we were in a little hotel in Portland or somewhere like that, in Dorset, somewhere in Dorset. I think that's where it was. And the best time was the first day. I was a bit of a fan of Tom Baker, and when we finished doing the first read through and things, and we went in, he just said to me, "Shall we meet at the bar?" And we became really firm friends since then. Every time we finished, every night, we went straight to the bar in the hotel and stayed for about 3 or 4 hours and discussed the script. If you believe that,
That was cool.
if you really believe that. No, it was great. I love the time. The quarry, a lot of the stuff that we did, it was superimposed or whatever they do. I don't understand those filming things, but we did those funny little shows coming in and things. And yes, and my arm, horror in my arm came off.
Oh yes.
And I realized that I was an automaton. It wasn't real. Yes, it was.
So sad. Did you watch it when it went out, Peter? Did you?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No. I
Because
watched it afterwards.
Because you had an enormous
The what?
audience. Because there was, I seem to remember 1979 was the time of the ITV strikes, wasn't it? And there was no Channel 4, so the choices were BBC One, BBC Two, which was probably some documentary about weaving. So that series got a huge audience.
Well, I'm thrilled. That's probably why I'm still here.
That's why all these people are
And you're no, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I learn something new every day.
And Simon,
Yes.
you never had the joy of quarries, did you? Because yours was made in
No, but because my dad was a quarryman.
Oh, really?
That's a completely random fact. I just thought I'd check, but you know, it's a little link there. It's quite Radio 2, isn't it? He worked in quarries, yes. I know.
We're here to learn.
Me too. If I'd gone into quarries, I'd have a great career, I think. No, we were in Red Assembly, BBC Centre, which is where the old BBC is in Wood Lane. Is it Wood Lane? Yeah. The company between Assembly and Red Assembly, weren't they? And I remember because I was very, my first telly. But just 2 doors down was Top of the Pops, wasn't it? It was Top of the Pops. And we had, I think Duran, Girls on Film was being done, and everyone was very excited, with Spandau and all that. You remember them?
You were dressed in stand.
I was dressed in stand. In fact, your costume from your. Yeah, so that's not there anymore, is it? It's gone, gone.
Well, no, it's still there.
It's not a BBC Centre, is it?
It's still there, isn't it?
Some of the studios are still there. They're used by ITV, ironically.
That's the.
You can tell how our career is going, but.
Because I think Good Morning Britain comes from television centre.
It does.
And Graham Norton, they're still doing
What?
Graham Norton there.
Graham Norton.
Yeah,
And
they're
Graham
still
Norton.
making.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
This is different altogether.
And actually, the BBC use ITV studios as well because it's cheaper for them to do that than use their own. Isn't that silly?
Well, they've taken them down on the South Bank. They've all been. You want to know this, don't you? Most of the ITV studios in South Bank have been trashed. It's just coming down. The tower is about to collapse. They're going to drop it down, finish. I don't know what they're going to put in its place.
So there we were, television centre.
I haven't even had a drink yet.
We were talking about Guinness as
I
we were
was
coming
talking
on
about
earlier.
I should have brought my half a Guinness with me, but yeah.
People, I didn't mention to you, I forgot to say, we did that job a few years ago in Edinburgh.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed to know, we did another job together in a big top in a park in Birmingham
Kevin Williams.
with Kevin Williams.
My giddy aunt.
Were you a magician in that? Were you doing magic tricks?
Yes.
And I was in that. I don't know why we were in the park in Birmingham. We
You're
were.
quite right.
If little Anna let me stop.
Anna Nicholas.
Who?
Anna Nicholas was in this as well. Do you remember Anna Nicholas?
No.
The actress?
No.
You don't?
No.
She's one of the leads.
Was she in it?
Yes, she really was.
Do you know what, in the world, when they say there's 6 degrees of separation, I'm convinced actually there's 2 degrees of separation. Because a number of times...
We know everybody.
Yes,
Every
the number of overlaps in the world is...
Anita Dawson, we know that.
Yes.
She was the Wicked Witch in Wizard of Oz, and I played the lion. She was very good.
Were you the whole line or just half?
I was the sweaty bit at the top.
Right.
Yes.
I know.
I thought it reminded me of that Birmingham.
Mike, that is unbelievable. It was in, yes.
Why we were there?
Was Peter playing the other half of the line?
He got the back end, of course.
It's very funny. Let's just go move on.
We could tour this after this.
After they were doing playing the Rebellion, there was another Doctor Who thing about the circus. Do you know this one?
Yes.
It was a circus thing. And they asked me to play the ringmaster, but I was already filming somewhere else and I couldn't. I'm so sorry I didn't do that. I was really looking forward to that because I would be the first person at that stage to have done a Doctor Who. But anyway, I didn't do it.
I think we're upping our chances of getting back in.
I want to do
after this interview.
I'd like to do a sort of elder statesman. Yeah. Or even older statesman, I don't care.
I'll do a thinner state.
They could do the Commander Sharrell spin-off series. You never know.
Yeah, I'll ask Sylvester.
Yes.
He's got a lot of clout.
Now, Simon, I can't not have you here and talk about your composing, because
Yes.
this is a huge, even though Terror of the Vervoids could arguably
It was
be...
called Terror of the Vervoids.
It had, it was Trial of the Time Lord,
Oh, yes.
episodes 9 to 12, or 9.
No. There was a lovely shot of me lying dead on top of Oscar Husband, and many people were paying hard cash for that, and they're not flapping my head. We were all piled up like a pile of exactly.
But each of the stories had a little title, and yours was Terror of the
Was it?
Vervoids.
Really interesting. I might have a look at it.
But of course, music is a much bigger part of your life.
It is,
even
yeah.
though you could argue that Terror of the Vervoids was, right up there.
Right up.
Just slightly above.
Right up. Yeah, I'm still acting, but I do a lot of music. You've done a lot of music, haven't you? So you were iconic.
It's
I
never
suppose.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing I did in Edinburgh with Nicola McAuliffe, we were very good friends.
Yeah.
You wrote the music.
I did write the music for that.
And didn't I have to learn something?
You sang a song about Hitler.
That's it.
I
That's
know,
it.
it's kind of
Hitler, was it?
A black man singing a song about Hitler.
It was a famous
And it was a very famous song that was
It was,
written in Trinidad or Jamaica.
It was exactly that.
Was it Trinidad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I can't remember, but I would go, yes, yeah.
You've got two old farts up here just chatting. Anyway, so
Don't
I do
mind
a
this.
lot of composing now. In fact, and your local theatre, the Lyric Hammersmith, this very week, if it was local.
What are you doing there?
I'm writing some music for a play by Ibsen called Ghosts.
That's posh.
With a very good cast, very good cast. That ends this week. So I do a lot of that now, and I'm not. It's just been taken over slightly from the acting, although I still do. There's a lovely lady today from Poland. Who's here? I don't know.
Here.
Here it is.
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said, yeah. Who said she loves hearing my audio. I'm quite big in Poland. It's not the cutaway jeans.
Also, you play a lot of musical instruments
I do.
according to Wikipedia, because that was my
Yes.
research.
It's bound to be true, isn't it?
Yeah. Because at school, the only instrument I played in the orchestra was the triangle. Because they didn't trust, or the guiro. That was a very sort of, oh, is that how it's said?
Yeah.
See, I can't even say it.
Guire is a cocktail, I probably enjoy.
Oh, right.
Peter likes.
But you're on to quite you can play quite a few instruments.
I do, and I do like writing music. Although I think going back to keeping in the Whovian groove, I think people like David Arnold and Murray Gold do a fantastic job in this program. Absolutely fantastic, a wonderful composer.
Well, the music does often make it, doesn't it? Because one of the things that Doctor Who fans can do in an exciting way is often look at undubbed episodes
Yeah.
when there is no music.
That's
And in
right.
fact, I think in the science fiction world, the most stark, undubbed sequence I've ever seen is the finale of Star Wars, the first film,
Oh yes.
where they come up and get their rewards at the end. And this is, and I think someone gave it the caption of, "This is why they pay John Williams so much money." Because without the music, it's just them walking along, squeaking as they make their way up the top. And it just brings it to
We
life.
just cover up the gaps really, composers,
Yeah.
just to make it look better.
I think John Nathan Turner had a phrase with, "If it doesn't work in the edit, we'll put a symphony over it." And how do you go about composing a score? Because I wouldn't even know where to start.
Hey, well, it depends what it is, doesn't it? I mean, it depends. If it's a drama set in a particular period, or particular action in the period, then you're going to sort of, is it going to be orchestral? Is it going to be rock and roll? Is it, I've got a show on about a band, a guitarist called Wilco Johnson. There we go. He was an iconic guitarist for Dr. Feelgood. He played with the Jerry Russell people. There's a play on the Southern Playhouse. Shameless plug there.
What's the box office number?
And that's very much at the 80s, late 70s, pre-punk. So there's a lot of rock and roll in it, which I've done, and also you kind of
composed a musical.
no, we've got his songs,
His songs,
which
yeah.
are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You just rearranged them.
and but the score around is kind of those sort of colours. There's a lot of guitar stuff and synthy stuff and drums. So yeah, it depends where it's set. I thought it was going to be quite interesting. That's actually my agent. My other half of that is going, same old gags. So yeah.
Tell us about this.
Oh, sorry, it's a great show. Wilco Johnson, he died of cancer sadly last year, but so you sort of go in and try and find out what sounds he was involved in. He's a guitarist, but what else? But something like the Show at the Road, it's an everyday tale of sins of your father's abuse and rape. I love a rom-com, and so it's dark and strange. So you have to kind of, I think most composers, particularly film and theatre composers, you have to do a bit of everything really. So whatever the style is, you've got to kind of, like Doctor Who again, you do a bit David Arnold stuff. It's big, and there's big universe issues, aren't there? There's big things happening in this world. If it's a small chamber you play with a family, you're not going to do big and do small, because I always have a rule, I use as many instruments in the cast for the orchestration, so you keep it small or keep it big, yeah.
The actors play the instruments.
No, it's all recorded. Yeah. But it's a nice thing to do, and I've seen sort of gone down that road a bit more. Really.
And actually, when I think back to a lot of TV shows, the music is often a very memorable part of it,
Yeah.
and it can be very evocative part of it.
Yeah.
So, no, good stuff.
You've recorded stuff, haven't you, Peter? You've done albums.
Apparently, yes.
He sold it on
You will
eBay
get
for
one now.
he sold it on eBay for £2.
Were you ever involved in Brown Sugar?
No, I didn't. That's American thing.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing
I
something.
was in a show called, anybody can remember it, Hair. That's the first thing I ever did. And
That wasn't too bad, was it, Hair?
It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
It was pretty good. And
That's right.
It was a great show. I mean, the first thing to do as a little boy from Jamaica living in Barners Green, middle class Methodist boy, and going in and start fucking and taking your clothes off and fucking. That's one of the things. I remember because of
And then you did that in rehearsals as well. Just on the way to work.
But you had to do it. You had to rehearse. Absolutely, you had to rehearse. But because in those days, the word "fuck" was not on stage. It wasn't allowed.
So that lad's gone.
Yeah, he's gone, that's why he knew.
He's coming rushing back in.
No, but it's true. It wasn't allowed. The Lord Chamberlain's office was when it was demolished or whatever they said, and we opened at the Shaftesbury Theatre the next day, and it's the first time there were lots of people protesting outside. There was people Christians who were saying you're not allowed to take your clothes off, you can't use the word Jesus Christ, you can't, and you certainly couldn't say fuck. And there was the whole, one great scene was this, I hate this fucking world. Yes, I hate this world, I hate this fucking world. Fuck, 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 fuck. This is great. And he just broke down all the great barriers.
Thank God I've got straker for this topic.
I imagine in Mamma Mia it wasn't quite like that. I don't remember that. So that
No, it was Swedes aren't so keen on that. They were a little cleaner.
yeah.
Less effing in that one.
Actually, those you've both been in sort of quite big, high-profile musicals and shows. What's it like then, the discipline of having to do like a matinee and an evening and again and again and again?
It's like people going to work.
Yeah.
Everybody, they have to wake up, clean their teeth, shower, get on the 8:20 train or run through the rush hour. It's just a different time. It's that we finish later.
Finish later.
And we like it. And later is lovely. And then we go to dinner, eat and drink and go to a club afterwards. Eat and drink some more, and drink some more, and drink some more. Eventually get home by 3. Well, I do, I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I
You
was
youngsters.
I said by 10:30, the prune will last us all quarter.
But actually, having to perform, did you ever try and do any little discreet little variations just to sort of drive things up a little bit?
Sorry.
Yes.
Just had a bad memory.
Yeah.
No, I'm a renowned, not renowned, very disciplined. But sometimes I gig on stage, it has been known. The Guardian once described me as the indisciplined Simon Slater. And Kevin Williams, funny enough. Yeah.
Really? Which other show are you doing with him?
It was called Seven to Two Masters.
I'm going to call him after this.
But when you do a long show, you'll know this, you go slightly bonkers because you're repeating it. I mean, I sang Knowing Me, Knowing You more times than...
Oh, is there an alarm going off?
Is it? Is that a job?
Is it a phone call?
Is that the spin-off come through already?
Peter, why didn't you answer it?
There we are.
Is it now the ringleader? Is this a social leader job? Is that coming with? Anyway, you do the show, and you go slightly mad. And I sang those songs more time than ABBA ever did. One night, this is I have told the story again. I used to say, knowing me, knowing you. Bless you. And one night I went on, and I had one of those terrible moments. You'll know this.
Oh, we forgot one.
I didn't know it was knowing me, knowing you, or knowing you, knowing me.
Oh.
And you know, the introduction starts, ding, ding, and then I'm going, and I went, and the chorus goes, I went, which round is it? Knowing you, know? Is it? Okay. I went, knowing you, knowing me. And then you can hear the audience laugh. I've got, that's the wrong way around. I've got. Then you got about 2 bars before the next line. Thinking, okay, I'm going to find a rhyme. I'm going to find a rhyme. And the musical director's like, right, knowing you, knowing me. Bless you. I'm working it. Knowing you, knowing me. There is nothing we can be. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, those jobs are great.
It just goes blank. It just goes blank. There's a song I do it. Used to do it. Jack Brad is one of my favorites. Jack Brad.
Very good too.
And the song which we used to open with was a song called Jackie. And I know this song. And I came on in this tent in Edinburgh, in the Edinburgh Festival tent, and I came down and singing, and going away, and I just started. And if one day, and it just blank. It just went. And I don't know what happens.
Because you're drinking till 3:30 in the night.
No, I hadn't back then. That's probably the problem. No, it just goes blank. I don't know why it goes blank. It just crashed. Yeah, so I had to come on again. I said, we have to start the whole show again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so I was back.
And then you remembered it.
Yes, it just came.
It's just isn't it?
It's crazy. Do you ever forget anything?
Yeah.
Oh.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And you wonder why? Tell me what you forgot. Somebody, you must have a good story.
Why you walked
You've
into a
forgotten
room.
why you walked into a room.
Oh.
you can get help. This is one of those rooms, isn't it?
Anyway, as before, you've heard me wittering on long enough. You must have some questions for these amazing guests. I can see a hand waving vigorously at the back. Yes. Oh, wait, let's go with the gent behind you first.
It's Peter. You've already mentioned hair, which had the most incredible cast. We talked about 2 degrees of separation. Do you remember Gary Hamilton?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he was a really, really good mate of mine. And he was so, his career sort of founded in the mid-70s, but he was so proud of her. But it was the most incredible cast.
Yes, you loved it.
I'm now thinking there'll be a lot of family audience. Do you know any other stories to remember? Nicholas was in it.
Paul Nicholas,
many people.
Elaine Page, Annabelle Levington, Diane Langton, who's in Hollyoaks, I don't know if you watched that, and she died just before Christmas. We're all dropping off the tree, as we say, but we're quite, it's life.
Don't be depressed.
Yeah, I'm not depressed at all. I'm just surprised when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry to you, at 4 o'clock in the morning, when inevitably I have to wee. I don't know why, with men, when you get to a certain age, at 4 o'clock, 3:34, you have to go and empty yourself.
He's finished drinking at 3:30.
And I always wake up at about 3. When I wake up, I go, oh my God, you're alive. And I go and come back in, and then I think, will I be awake in 2 hours? And I usually am, thank God. That's why I'm here today.
Otherwise, it would just be you, Simon.
Yeah, it would be just you, Simon. And
If you ever get to see Peter's Jacques Brel show, it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely amazing. That song's one of the songs.
Yeah, that's a great song. And I did an album which was released and sold quite well. Surprising, I don't know why.
Great songs. Such a heartbreaking song.
Have you ever heard of Jacques Brel? You know what I'm talking about.
Another question then. One from the very top there, in the front row.
Hello, Peter. The last time I saw you was above the stand in the Torsten musical.
Oh, yes,
What
yes.
was it like working with Andy Bell of Erasure?
He was great. Actually, what can I think of? It's surprisingly we got on very, very, very well, really. And we did some recording together as well. He's lovely. I saw him about 2 years ago when he was here. And just great. And he's great fun. Great voice, and I really mean that. I loved his. I've always liked his voice. So he's a mensch. I like him.
Okay, question right at the back there.
I have questions for Simon. So it's about your acting in. You did Holby for a little bit.
Holby City.
Yeah. I
Oh,
was
stop
asking what
it.
it was like doing the relationship with Guy Henry, with his character.
Oh, my relationship with Guy.
Yeah.
Yes. I was in Holby City. In fact, I was the last regular to join Holby City, so I sort of killed it off. They call me Dr. Death. Guy, I didn't know Guy Henry. I played a brilliant consultant. I can't tell you what he was good at. He was brilliant at everything. He didn't tell me that bit. And I was a gay man, and I had, in the story, a relationship with Guy Henry, who becomes... we end up together, but it was a sort of long, torturous months of nothing happening, really. Is that what you're asking about, what the relationship with Guy? Do you know Guy Henry, actor? Do you know him?
I don't think so.
He's a very, very funny man. I mean, naughty, bad, naughty man.
Oh, the two of you must be wonderful together.
No, I was disciplined. No, I was absolutely rock solid. So,
As it were.
Are we going to get in trouble?
I
They never did another convention after that. They hardly mentioned Dr. Who, at least we can't remember it for so long. So Guy is a very fine actor, done a lot of Shakespeare, and he knows I'm a straight man, and we would have.
You're a straight man.
Well, I don't mean heterosexual. I mean, when I stand up, I'm very
that's
There was one bit, which was like, we got on really well, and he was a sweetheart, and he's a dear friend. There was one bit, and I had to...
It's coming back.
It's coming back! I had to just dance a samba. Have you seen it? No, he's their guy, and I'm sort of flirting with him. The weird thing is, I actually wrote the music for the samba. So it's a visual, this. You can be Guy Henry, don't get excited. And the director says, you know, you
Was he
just...
sitting down?
He was sitting down.
Oh, good. That's right.
And I had to... This is one of the most... I mean, there's a lot of trust and love between us. But, you know, we're middle-aged men, and
Was it like?
I had to go like
No,
this.
but was he? What was?
Well, he was
Was he
just...
just looking?
Oh, he was just looking at my... No, he was looking embarrassedly. He was embarrassed by my sauciness. And I'd come and say, hello, doctor. And the music on the radio, and the director said, just start moving gently. And then it gets a bit... it gets a bit more sort of, you know, because it's a samba on the radio. Trouble with the samba is one step forward, 2 steps back. Anyway, never mind that. Stop it.
On the edge of the stage.
And I sort of, I'm going chat, dialogue, chat, dialogue. And then she said, no, start doing the hip. Oh, shit. Again. And it was, we had, at the end of the cup, we had tears going down. And he was a very sweet guy, I don't mind saying it to any of you hear this. And he said, oh, Slater, it's so lovely you do. I know you hate doing all this puffy stuff, but it's absolutely fine. You do ever so well. So the thing about that, it was actually a rather good, because it was never sort of physicalised, was it? He's just men who became lovers, presumably, but it was a sort of friendship was really, well, it was actually a really lovely job. And I was really sad it finished, because he's a fine actor.
So
very
I
funny.
think carry on.
It was a brilliant job to do, and a lovely thing to be involved with, actually. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Is that you who watched it? I never saw it, I can't bear it. It looked like a potato. But anyway.
On that note, I would love to carry on. I'm sure we could carry on nattering for hours, but unfortunately time has beaten us again.
Oh, have we got to go?
We've got to go, that's it.
Oh,
That started.
I know, we just warmed up,
Yes.
and now that's the end of it. So please, can you give a huge round of applause?